gonna park this Big Mac truck right in your fiscal garage. Let's be frank, check is blank from our secret central bank. I don't cut, I don't think, but let me tell you how I got this tank. Gotta be hard to beat, monetary sovereignty, inflate that cash till it turns into monopoly. Quantitative easing, executed properly. I'm well versed in monetary policy. Spending cuts, baby, are you kidding me? Print some ones, then make a facsimile. I'm like Drake, baby, can't you see? Turn in M1, M2, M3. I got pomo phone.
G'day everybody and happy Friday and welcome to True Blue VTX Crypto. How you guys going?
Good. What's going on, guys?
VTX there he is. My man, my man. Yeah, happy Friday, gents. Looks like 43 has popped in as well.
Oh, look out.
43. How you going there, buddy?
Yo.
Oh yeah. Friday
What is
afternoon.
happening?
Just about to
Friday afternoon.
Dude.
Let's crack one open.
Let's do it.
Cheers to the weekend.
I still got the
What's
whoop,
happening,
whoop.
VTX?
What's up?
What are
What's
you
up?
I got the
I'm
whoop
super
whoop.
happy to be here. I got the whoop whoop from last month still.
That's wicked.
It's aged
That's the
well.
Aussie wine. That's the Aussie wine, yeah?
Yeah, it is. There's some Aussie wine I found at the shop. You know, I crushed the Fosters last time I was here. So
That's right.
you know.
Respect. That was cool,
So
man. I appreciate
You're doing
that.
a hexy bastard and going all night, and that's your last drop, or is this the first one for the day?
What, drinking?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't really drink. I haven't even had a drink since the last time I was on this stream.
Yeah, nice. That's all
We're
good.
like bad influences on VTX. We're like
no,
enabling him.
No, it's not like that. I'm just really happy to be here and I want to partake. You know, it's good people.
Awesome,
This
man.
is like true friendship over here. I love it.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we're just chilling here in Mexico, just all around the world, having a couple of beers on a Friday arvo, and yeah, just saying hello to the chat here. Who we got? We got. I saw a shout out to Hi Ho Hex who gave us the yeah on
Yep.
the comment
And
that
it's gone.
disappeared. Yeah, invisible comments.
Disappearing,
my invisible
The
beers.
elusive comments that disappear.
Mm.
Where do
But
they
yeah, shout
go?
out to-
Does anyone
Exactly.
even know?
It goes to the same dimension where all of like your pens and socks and shit go when you just like, or guitar picks. If you've ever just like, where the fuck did that go?
Yeah.
It's like in an alternate
Gone into
reality.
images. Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Crypto Incognito. Ooh. It's got a bit of a enigmatic handle there. I like that. Shout out Crypto Class. What's up? What's up?
Hey, guys.
She's going to steal some of my my video, I think, from the intro. That's pretty par for the course. G'day V, Base Radian. What's up? Tin Top, Ash. Oh, we've got a lot of legends in the house here. So
Heck
yeah, thanks everyone for joining us and for coming and saying hello.
And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, DeFi Down Under, and also DeFi with Dozer, the channel this is also getting streamed to. Is it getting streamed to that channel as well, Dozer?
I think it does, mate. Yeah. And of course,
Subscribe.
VTX, you've got to like and subscribe to VTX's channel.
I gotta get back on it. But yeah, show that social media love, guys. Like, subscribe. No haters for anyone making content on a regular basis. Let me say that real quick. It
Cheers
is
to that.
serious work. So, got mad respect
100%.
for everyone in the game.
For sure, man. For sure. How you been, VTX? What have you been up to?
I've just been kind of laying low a little bit. I haven't made a video in a while on the channel, but I left my job. I'm starting up like 3-4 businesses right now.
Holy
And
shit.
All right.
well, I'm refurbishing one. Um,
Nice.
so I got like a vintage clothing and accessory thing I'm doing with my girlfriend, and I had to buy a wheelchair accessible van for a family member. So
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
you know what? Let's see if we can give some rides to people that, need some non-emergency medical transportation. So we're trying to get
that's
that
so
started as well.
Good
Nice.
idea,
Oh, that's
man.
really, yeah, that's really awesome. Actually giving back to the community there as well. So that's wicked.
Thank you.
And yeah, it sounds like you've got a few irons in the fire. Like you got multiple sort of businesses going. So it sounds like you're working hard, man.
Yeah, and still the music all the time. Still doing the music. So
Nice. Yeah, I saw you were dropping some beats for us on the thumbnail. I like that.
yeah, had to.
43. How are you going, mate? What have you been up to?
Me, I've just been going down rabbit holes as I always do.
Nice.
Playing around, and I think I mentioned it in the chat. I've been playing with this thing called Chasm, which is this. It's a way that you can like spin up virtual machine things, instances through Docker, and then you can access them remotely. So you can just like spin up a browser. Like that's all you can just spin up a browser, and you can have persistent storage where like you can set up, theoretically you could set up a browser with like a Rabby wallet in it and then like access it from anywhere.
So you're talking about like virtual
via
machines
VPN.
within the browser, is that right? So like
Within
a
the
VM
like streaming
browser.
from a server somewhere in the world where you've set it up, right?
Okay.
But as you access it, since it's running through Docker, it's not using all the system resources in the same way a virtual machine would.
Yeah.
Like when you run a proper
It's
like
like
a normal virtual
partitioned.
machine, it's like those system resources you can't, like the server can't access them. It's like cordoning off those resources. But with Docker, it's only using what it needs to use. So it's like just works better. I've been playing with that, and that's interesting. It's open source.
People use that Docker stuff for validators, don't they? So they can partition all the different validators. And is that how that
to spin up
they use
nodes and to spin up validators?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've heard of people using that.
Yeah, people definitely use Docker's awesome, man. Docker's awesome. Love Docker.
I got to look into it, man. I got to look into it. That's
you don't know what you're missing out on, bro. I'm telling you.
Well, as long as it's not the actual Dockers, because they are shit from the Eagles.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the football team, the Dockers. And as long as we're not talking about docking,
Oh shit!
Absolutely.
No, man, we're definitely not talking about that.
What that is.
And don't fucking Google that either. I'll tell you what.
Happy hour, but not that happy.
That's funny. That's like the not that happy. That's like the PDI guys. They're talking about the pegging all the time, and you're just like,
I love that.
I don't know if I want that. That sounds bad.
It depends who's doing the pegging, hey?
Yeah, I like the dick with butt one. They got the dickening.
The dickening. Everything with the ending at the end of it.
Yeah.
It's just in life. I see myself throwing that in life. I just need to like fix something on the wall, so the tapening is about to occur.
No,
That's true. Just throw it in. I don't even know what the dickening
someone
is.
in the chat has
I don't know if I want that.
Has just said, I think V has just said, is it like it's like USB Tails OS, but on a server?
Okay.
I would liken it. I would liken this. The closest thing I can think of, it's almost like have you heard of Cube's OS, where you can just like open up like windows
I haven't heard of Cubes, but I've heard of Tails. So is Tails is like where you can just boot like an operating system off like a USB or something? Is that right?
Yeah.
Like
so it's not
like
Tails is not a virtual machine. It's like you're booting an OS off your USB. So you're using the hardware, but you're just booting off that, and you're not using the rest. Like you're not using the other operating system that's on the drive on the system itself. With this, it's sort of like Cube's OS in that you're spinning up like just virtual like Windows And then once you shut down that window, you can just like, it just destroys it. So let's say you want to go to a website that you think might be infected with malware, or you want to open up a document that is potentially infected with malware. You can go just open up this browser, right? Log into this thing, spin up your virtual instance of an OS, open up all the stuff, and then like if it's infected with malware, who cares? You just burn it at the end, just go and just destroy it.
So
and
it sort of partitions sort of isolates your whole system, just so that if that bit gets malicious malware or whatever installed on it, you can just delete that.
You just
that
destroy
instance,
it. You just explode it at the end.
Affect your main
that's
system.
what Cube.
Okay,
that's what
really
Cube's
cool.
OS does. Yeah.
So you can like bring the file into that to open it up, but it won't allow like malware or viruses to come back into your system.
You're looking at it through this. It's almost like you're looking at it through like one layer of abstraction.
Okay.
Right. So you're looking at it through the browser on this other system, which is a virtual machine. You look at it, you get the info you need. You say you read it, and it's like, let's say it's got malware on it. It infects the virtual machine, but then you just like turn off the virtual machine and explode it, and it's gone away. And who cares? You know, they haven't got anything.
Gotcha. It's like you're dialing into another computer, effectively, like an instance of a virtual machine, and then 2 seconds. You can.
2 seconds later, you just spin up another virtual machine, like you spin up another, or you just spin up a browser, or you just spin up like they've got all these. And I've only just started scratching the surface of it, but it is cool shit.
It sounds cool, man, because it sounds like Base Radiant is saying here that Tails forgets. So whereas you in this, you can set up something with it. Did you say it had like some permanent memory or persistent? So
you can have persistent storage, but so you can set up with persistent storage. But it depends what you want to do. Like I was saying, like I was thinking use case wise, you could set up a browser with like a Rabby wallet or a MetaMask in it with persistent storage for that, so that when you load it up, that's there. Otherwise, every time you load it up, it would just be a brand new instance of a browser that's from scratch, which you can still you can have persistent storage, and then you can load it up without persistent storage if you want, where it's just like you can just burn it at the end. It's cool, man. It's really cool.
It does sound cool, man. I should look into it. Because
Chasm Web, it's called Chasm Web, KASM, Chasm.
Okay. Yeah, I can pull it up, man. Let's have a look. But
there's got to be some like big brain people out there that can figure out some creative things to do with that. That sounds really dope. Just the fact that you already know about that is amazing.
It's been around for a little while, actually. I'm annoyed that I haven't known about it earlier. So you can, like, for example, dude, just go back up. You can just click on there. I'll give you an example. Click on Linux desktop, just there. Click on that, and it will actually now just open up a virtual machine Linux desktop for you.
Oh, holy shit!
Like on the spot.
What?
It's doing it right now, and this is what it looks like when you're doing it. But you can set it up on your own server, so that it's like it's yours, and you know you're in control.
That's crazy, man. It'll probably slow the stream down heaps, so I won't keep going with it.
Yeah.
But holy shit, that's really cool, because there is some things that I've wanted to play around with Linux and stuff, and I was like, oh, I should just create a VM, and then I was like, screw the whole thing. But yeah, that's wow, okay, cool, man. Thanks for like adding value there to us, just sitting around having a beer, and then now I can actually check that out later.
And you can like click and drag files into it. Is that how that works? Like from your main computer, you can just like drag a file in.
I think you can. You've got control if you want that to be how you use it.
Okay.
So you can probably use it in that way if you want.
You could probably use web storage, and then you could access it through the web
right.
that way as well.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you could you can do that. You can use web storage. You can set up storage on the server that you spin it up on. You can have like storage there. There's all sorts of things. You can use Google storage. You can use like what's the box one? You can use
Dropbox.
All the cloud.
Dropbox.
Yeah. You can use all that stuff if you want.
What's up, Clintrons? That's a cool PFP, man. I like that. V said Tails forgets what? Yeah, I've never used Tails, but I guess if you're booting it from USB.
Tails forgets everything.
Oh, okay. Does it?
Yeah, so you can, with Tails, you can set up persistent storage in it if you want, but when you boot it, when you load up, it will ask you for the persistent storage password, or you can just load it up without entering that password, and it will just be a bare bones OS. So, you know, let's say you want it, once again, you want to go to a website that has malware, or you want to go to a website that has, you want to look at a PDF that you don't know if it's infected with malware. You can open up Tails, connect up to the internet, no persistent storage. It's got like apps already in there just to do everything that you need to do. It's even got like an Electrum wallet in it, Tails OS. It's got like all sorts of crypto stuff in there as well.
You don't want anyone to see your browsing history.
Yeah, that's right. Let's say you, it's got like Tor. It's all Tor. It's all Tor based. So it's got like a Tor browser, connects up to Tor, does all of that.
That's awesome, man. That's really cool. True Blue, mate. What are you been up to?
Oh man, some of that just went straight over the head, but a lot of it I got as well. So basically, like a remote connection, like back in the day, you'd connect remotely to help someone out or whatever. You're more so using that to access files and give them a go first.
Similar, yeah.
Sort of. Anyway, yeah, no, not been up to much really. Actually, went out to tea with a hexagon on Sunday night, something like that, down to Chinatown. So that was really nice.
Cool, man.
So always good to catch up with people that
didn't get any falafels.
No falafels. We weren't out that late.
Menu, mate.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's it.
Kebabs only.
Yeah, and went down to the PO box just before and got some stuff from EcoBuilder.
Oh, awesome! EcoBuilder's a legend, man. Yeah, he's
looks like I need to get out and about now. And actually, they're not gonna focus right. A heap of cards and stickers and stuff, and good onboarding stuff. So looks like I put myself to work other than just streaming.
And the Hex postcards guys, I think they finished their competition, and it was that Hex Getter guy, the one that I liked, which had the Did You Miss Bitcoin? That was the one that won.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Yeah, we all liked that one. Yeah.
So hopefully, I don't know if I influenced people into voting for that, but that was the one that I liked, and we talked about it last week. But then we got to the end, and we were like, we probably should have just said, put Hodpool on one side and KDP on the other, and then just be done with it. But no, they went with the Bitcoin one. So, but no, shout out to those guys, Togosh and EcoBuilder for doing that, because I think that's what we need. Is we got to keep working to sort of spread the word, get people in, let people know what's up, because I think the RH ecosystem has got sort of, in my mind, the best potential upside with less risk. So like, if you are looking at Ethereum ETFs coming out, things like that, Bitcoin might do a 2x or something like that. And then you've got the other end of the spectrum where you've got these meme coins just coming out left, right, and center that are mostly rugs. And so then the ROI is high, but the risk is off the charts. So you need somewhere where you've got this sort of equilibrium almost, where you've got, outsized returns, good ROI, but they're relatively, I would say, safe, particularly in terms of like liquidity rugs and things like that. Like I'm confident that, Hex and PulseChain are going to be there for a while at least. So
I think DeFi is going to make a comeback at some point. DeFi has got to make a comeback. It's the reason we're all here. You know what I mean? Like, it's the reason this is all possible. Like, DeFi is what set us up so you could have meme coin communities and trade between assets and do all the degenning and the gambling and the speculation and stuff. It's like, eventually people are going to see that. And I've said it before, like, when PulseX is cheap in price, that buy and burn just like goes crazy. That might just be cope at this point, but I watch that thing tick up all the time. We're gonna have to use the DEX no matter what. The ecosystem is amazing. It's there's things going on. And if anybody says PulseChain is dead, I just laugh. There's nothing to even respond to that.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Now, look, everything is wrecked at the moment. Like Bitcoin got hammered. Even all of your sort of L1s and other L2s, things like that. A lot of stuff getting wrecked. So, people kind of thinking, oh, look, my coin's down 8% or whatever. It's like, just chill out and just relax. Oh, this one I liked. I was going to bring this up earlier. This was a
Good
wrecked
thumbnail.
capital one where it's just like, zoom out a little bit and you're looking over long time frames. This is like 10 years ago. And you see these halvings. And you see some downturn here. But on the big picture, you just got to wait it out. But you're talking long time frames, like 4 years,
Yeah, that's like a 12-year chart.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it's not like looking at 12-hour charts. It's like you have to kind of really think about the bigger picture and just zoom out, I guess. And also I noticed you were talking about meme coins. Vitalik's blog, he was just talking about how, people, get into Dogecoin or whatever and this and that and get into the cycle. And then people sort of say that they're going to get wrecked. But it's also a great way. There are some advantages and things about people sort of getting onboarded into crypto itself. And there can be other positives that you can get out of it. I mean, he's given some examples here of charity coins, Robinhood games, and things like that. So yeah, check out Vitalik's blog if you get a chance. He does just say some interesting things. He did some things about privacy pools and other stuff, which is really interesting. I like that.
That's
idea
obviously
about people-
something he's very passionate about, because he regularly touches on the topic of privacy pools. Regularly, he blogs about that. So it's obviously something that's very close to his vision of what crypto needs to be, or what like features it needs to have. He's always talking about it, always blogging about it. Did you guys hear about Roger Ver being arrested in
Yes.
Spain?
Yeah.
To be extradited to the US to face charges by the DOJ for tax evasion.
Wow.
Yeah. Did he forget to pay his, well, not forget, did he just not pay his exit tax when he left? Because
No, I
he
think
renounced his citizenship.
Yeah, I think we don't know. I mean, I haven't read it. My understanding of what it is they waited till the last minute, until it exceeded the 10-year limit to go after him.
Okay.
So it makes me wonder, why have they waited 10 years, almost 10 years to go after him? And I think, well, he just released a book,
Yeah.
shitting all over Bitcoin, and telling why Bitcoin has been compromised. So I just wonder, are bigger things at play here? Do these big companies that are all investing into Bitcoin, and this is me, pulling together some sort of conspiracy or whatever, but I don't even know if it's a conspiracy or not. But it's an interesting.
I agree. I think
thought to have.
there's-
they would go after him over something like that, wouldn't they?
Well, it depends, because there's a lot of money invested, so you got to be careful who you talk smack about people with big dollars. And he has he had a big platform as well. I guess it depends. Like, we've got 33 live viewers, so shout out to those guys. But we talk smack about to everyone. But yeah, maybe he's got a bigger platform, and then that's why it's like, Elon Musk. They go after him because he's got such a platform that when he says shit, a lot of people hear it.
I've just got a clip here from a book that I've just finished off. It's Confessions of an Economic Hitman. It's a very short excerpt from that book.
Oh yeah, I know this.
Which is, I'm not sure if you can hear the audio. Can you tell me if you can or not?
Yeah, give it a play. Can't hear it.
Oh, you can't? Okay.
No.
All right. Do I have to share audio or something?
There might be some trick to it. I'm clicking on things here. If you've got a link, I can open it, but otherwise, you might have to do it at your end, bro. I don't know. I think
let me see. Can I send it to you? Can I send it to you in Telegram?
You certainly can. I don't know if I've got access to it in front of me, but yeah, you do that. I'll try and do it in the background. But yeah,
What's the best way to get it to you?
Just send it to maybe on Twitter, just DM, and then I can. If it's a link, is it, or an actual file?
No, it's an actual file.
Oh, okay. We'll see if you can do it by Twitter DM. Yeah. But yeah, I was just going to say about that point you made. So BlackRock have just been accumulating BTC, and a lot of these big players, potentially governments and things like that, like or agencies within governments, have been accumulating BTC. So I feel like that if they thought that they were trying to kill crypto, in a sense, they realized that they couldn't enforce it. There would be no way to actually stop it. So, but really by controlling it, the key would just be to accumulate so much of it that even if it does do well, then that they are in control, or they have some control over it. So yeah, I kind of wonder when it comes down to, like the way that the SEC has kind of been real cagey about listing Ethereum as a security. And then there was those guys in the SEC that I'm not sure if they stepped down or whether they were fired because they lost that court case that happened recently. But yeah, it definitely seems like they're playing sort of like the SEC playing a bit of mind games, trying to spook markets and trying to steer people away from Ethereum. And everyone's been focusing on Bitcoin because that's the asset that they have control over. And yeah, legacy finance, things like that, getting their sticky mitts on it through the ETFs. So, but yeah, maybe that'll change once the Ethereum ETF comes along.
I sent that thing through to Twitter, so it should be there.
Cool.
It's interesting because that clip, I was listening to it and it just spoke to me. I've just thought it feels like this is where we're at, and I guess it's always been like this. It's not, it's an interesting thought, and I was pondering it and just seeing what happened, what's happened with Roger Ver, seeing what's happened with CZ from Binance as well. He's going to have 4 months in jail.
4 months. Respect. He called that. He was the Nostradamus of his own demise there. He called that 4 months. But
exactly.
I mean, if he's like one of the richest men in the world and he just takes 4 months in a cozy like a cozy sort of jail. So I'm clicking way too many things at once here.
Jim on the mind. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what I got to go after this. But no, if CZ goes to jail for 4 months, but he walks away with, we're talking billions of dollars, then I don't know. It seems like a fair trade. I don't think he's going to be too spewing.
Yeah, it's probably happy with his terms in a way. Probably not the worst it could be.
Depends what happens in those 4 months, eh? Depends what sort of jail he's in and what the company he'll be keeping.
I'm guessing he can afford to pay for protection and all that stuff, man. Like, I have suspected that CZ is one of the richest.
Hook you up with some BCS, no BSC when I get it,
BNB or whatever. Yeah, just send me your Addy and I'll flick you a few BNB. You can pay for cigarettes in the commissary or whatever.
Hopefully, not too many of the inmates know about DWB meme coin yet. I won't say it, but yeah.
That's the dickening. That's a different kind of dickening, right? All right. Let me see if I can play this and see if you guys can hear it. Is the key.
I found myself asking the same questions over and over.
Yeah.
How many decisions, including ones of great historical significance that impact millions of people, are made by men and women who are driven by personal motives rather than by a desire to do the right thing? How many of our top government officials are driven by personal greed instead of national loyalty? how many wars are fought, because a president does not want his constituents to perceive him as a wimp.
Okay. Interesting.
Good questions. I wonder. I was asking myself that. I was thinking about some politicians, and I was asking myself those questions. And I wasn't coming up with very good answers in my mind.
Yeah, look, man, I think a lot of, wars and things like that I strongly suspect are about money extraction. I think it's about, laundering and washing funds through wars and lining politicians' pockets and things. That's what, and then there's like the secondary thing of like, we're defending the freedom of whomever. But yeah, and then there's also egos at play and things like that on an international politics scale, and yeah, unfortunately, there's all sorts of human emotions like the hubris and weird stuff that goes on from these, and most of them are megalomaniacs anyway because they're politicians. So.
Under the guise of protecting freedoms, by the way, under the guise, because at the very same time, seeking to take away freedoms, domestically. So
oh yeah,
when the argument is, oh, we need to fight this war for to preserve your freedoms, and then with the other hand trying to take away freedoms domestically, I have skeptical hippo eyes on that shit.
Yeah, me as well. I think that's very true. They sort of cosplay as people who care about the people, but really they care about getting re-elected and lining their own pockets, unfortunately. Shout out to DJ Cryptomatic here in the chat. He saw that we had the DJ in the background, so he stepped up. So yeah, check out DJ Cryptomatic on Twitch. He does some cool streams, and yeah, thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, their show, What the Hex, is quite entertaining. It's early mornings for us on a Friday, but yeah, it's a good show with Papa Bono. Yeah, so very entertaining stuff. What was I going to say about that? Oh, today they had Felix from Hex Scout on. So that was pretty interesting, just hearing about
I love Hex Scout.
The ins and outs of Hex Scout. But yeah, I've got it. I use it a bit just to keep an eye on things, and it's a very good app.
There's been a fair few things going on like this week. There was that Flex thing that launched, the Power City guys. And so I guess it's like liquid loans, but using Hex as collateral instead of the Pulse.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that could be interesting. Maybe we'll stop people from selling Hex and start taking loans instead. So that could be good. I noticed the Spark Swap guys as well had a new front end, like a new interface. It looked pretty snazzy. So I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, nice.
A bit more, yeah, it just looks a bit more professional, a bit more a bit cleaner. You can go straight to that bridge link, which I think is good.
Yeah, that's good. That link was hiding a bit before, wasn't it? So
yeah, everyone was struggling to find that bridge link. Farms and vaults and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, these guys are building. So and this is the one where you can kind of you can reinvest your ink from the farms and then sort of auto compound it into the farms to get the assets that you might want. That's the vault thing. So that's kind of cool. And I guess my only criticism with this bridge thing was I noticed on BNB or BSC, okay, they've changed it. Okay, cool. So because they were really focusing on this EMP token, it seemed like, oh, maybe I need to connect a wallet to it. But you can also do DAI on BSC and bridge that in. So that's obviously one of the cheapest ways to bridge in. But yeah, that was cool. The Flex thing. I mean, I didn't think there was a sacrifice for Flex, so I was kind of a little bit bullish on it. And then I think it just did like a loan token and just died, like in terms of the price. But yeah, I kind of like the idea, at least, that people
was
can
a
take
nice
loans
stealth
against the
launch, wasn't
hex. Stealth launch, yeah.
They just launched out of nowhere, yeah, overnight. So
Yeah, I saw, that they had deployed it, and I was like, what the hell's going on? So yeah, I guess, it's, you can get the redemptions, like Hex DC is the stable coin that's backed with $1 worth of Hex. So it's basically like exactly the same as liquid loans, or even like Earn or whatever it is. So instead of using PLSX, it's using Hex. Yeah.
So now there's 3 loan protocols, big loan protocols on PulseChain. One for Pulse, which is liquid loans. One for PLSX, which is it called Earn?
Earn. Mm-hmm.
Earn.
Yep.
And now there's this one called Flex, which is for Hex. It's crazy. I wonder whether they also does that include the bridged-in Hex from Ethereum? Is there a way to use that as well, or is it just the native Hex to PulseChain?
I don't think so. Yeah, my understanding is it's a loan based on PHEX, but I could be wrong.
PHEX.
If they can do that for all these tokens, there's no reason they can't do that protocol for like any token they want. You know what I mean? Like,
interesting.
Down the road, I mean, I heard Sami talk about this months ago, that they were going to come out with something like this. I'm like, here it is. It's crazy. Like, who knows? You can throw collateral in anything you want. I mean, not on these protocols, but if they want to program it, if people want to use it.
It's a good way, another way of locking up the Hex. So the more we can do that, the better, because it seems people have lost the sentiment of staking a little bit, or at least talking about it less nowadays. But yeah, sorry, 43.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, well, I was going to say a couple of things. Yeah, I mean, if you look on DeFi Llama for PulseChain, right, like Liquid Loans has got 52 million TVL. So, and Power City, like these guys are, they're talking decent fun. So people are using them, that's for sure. The other thing I was going to talk about real quick is, you were saying that maybe people were going away from the Hex staking narrative. I feel like that could be opportunity for stakers, from one point of view. If less people are using it, then they get more yield. But the other thing is, people have been crushing the yield in the farms. So for big players, for example, like I saw someone had pulled out, had found an address, and you know how you can do it with Deck Screener. You can just put in the filter by addresses. I'll see if I can find it, but it basically had like heaps of cells. I think it was Dylan that showed it on the Cabana's crypto, like the happy hour, the American one. So shout out to Cabana and the American happy hour guys. That was a really interesting stream. And and I'll see if I can find the address, but it was crazy. There was so many cells. And that address, I guess, was just making so much yield in ink, because as a percentage of like a large amount of money, that they were just killing it in terms of just selling that ink, which is what's always kind of worried me about ink, because it's a reward to to incentivize the farming, to offset the impermanent loss, but it is being sold, so it's got that sell pressure. But the amount of realized gain in terms of APR that some of these big players are getting from the farms might be part of the reason. But that can change, right? Like as price of ink goes up and things like that, they might change the multiplication factor and all those sorts of things in those farms. So anyway, that was something I thought was interesting.
For sure. Hey, I'm not part of the Hexfire crowd at the moment, because I know now he's changed the website where you actually need to be part of the community to look up the info and the charts. is there any other good sites to look at the hex staking sort of metrics, like just to see where we're at, if staking is going up at the moment, or where it is on a broad scale?
There was a few. I don't really look at. I mean, there was that Hex Vision. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
That
I've
would
been
just
on
be
there just trying.
Ethereum.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about. Yeah.
True. There was one guy that had some really interesting stats for it, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to pull it up easily.
Someone in the chat might show us or let us know.
Was there look into Hex?
Oh yeah.
Did that have anything? Could we go there? I know that had some charts, but I'm not sure if it had the charts that you're talking about. That's
It's
the
got liquidity, adoption, inflation. Oh, that's the rainbow logarithmic regression. Go to that one if you're looking for a laugh.
Oh boy.
I don't see.
I think
the
that rainbow, that side of the rainbow needs to come back down like a traditional rainbow.
We need a
It's
double
literally-
rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I'll see if I can find it in the background, but yeah.
I think even look into Hex is only for eHex at the moment, so I might have to man up and just join the Hexfire website.
Hexfire is wicked.
Yeah, it looks really good, the new one. Yeah.
So are you saying that you have to join it or something? What happened to just hexfire.io?
Yeah, if you go to that now, it's got a whole, like, Crispy's obviously done an amazing improvement on the site, but I think you need to log in now. And it might be part of being in the Patreon, or unless you can just log in just with an email address.
It's been a while since I've looked at it. Yeah.
I'll look into it at some stage.
Can you not go to any of those things up the top there?
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I'm just clicking
You can
buttons.
still use it, can't you?
Oh, you found it.
That's loading. That's loading, yeah.
There we
T-share
go.
versus cost.
Maybe.
There we go. I was wrong. Thanks for that.
Well, it hasn't loaded yet. It's you might still be right.
Takes a little bit of time to load, I think.
Yeah.
Shout out to Crispy. He's normally on the Matty Allen show, isn't he? Oh, here we go. Oh yeah, so it looks like it's still there.
I take my words back. Sorry about that, Crispy man.
No, that's understandable, man. Because the first thing when you look at it says you have to subscribe. I just didn't take no for an answer and just started clicking buttons until I found
Check
something.
out the staker adoption while you're there. I know it'll take a minute to load. Oh no,
Oh yeah.
there.
Oh no. Now that it's loaded, staker adoption.
That's on E.
Current stakers and versus price. Oh wow, it's actually going
So
down.
it's come back down to where we were in September 2023. So, what is it? Bit over 6 months. We've come back in the last 6 months.
This is what I'm saying is this isn't necessarily a bad thing. If less people are staking, it means that the people who are stake are getting higher yield rewards, right? Because they're getting a higher percentage of the available yield. And then if you're looking at farms, it might just be that more people are using the farms now. So, because you're still in the system, it means that people are providing liquidity on PulseX and things like that. So it could be something like that. I suspect if you look at yield-wise, the farms are probably outperforming staking. That would be my
I'd say
assumption.
so at the moment. Yeah.
So
But
I'm
yeah,
just looking at
it's-
Hex stats, Hex daily stats.
Hex daily stats, yeah.
Yeah, good, great site for just to get a snapshot of what's going on. So currently, I think it's PulseChain is looking. We're getting some good payouts. PulseChain is over 7 hex per T-share at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, and it
is-
was up to 9.8 the other day because there was that hack,
Yeah.
wasn't there? So there was 2 hacks that happened during the week. One was one of the Axis majority holders had got hacked, And then it seemed like they were doing really weird things with, they were bridging out the whatever it was. I think it was the Pulse that they had, compromised wallet that hacked that wallet. They bridged it out and they were trying to sell it on the Ethereum side. So it was eating like heaps of slippage because there's no liquidity for wrapped, or there wasn't enough liquidity to be selling like millions of dollars in wrapped Pulse on the Ethereum side. So it seems like it was a bit of a noob hack. Well, at least the hack was someone who doesn't know the system well. And people were speculating that it didn't look like a hack because they were sort of sending money back and forward and doing it, because it wasn't just like a wallet drainer where it just drained everything. It seemed like it was like a person. But then, and I thought maybe that could have been legit. Like maybe it wasn't a hack. Maybe it was just a, a boating accident. And then apparently that wallet that got the funds like sent across.
Good old boating accident hack.
Good old fashioned boating accident. But apparently that wallet is like a well-known, like it receives funds from wallet drainer, malicious dApps, like on all chains everywhere. And that is like a known, like flagged wallet. So then I was like, well, then it couldn't really be an inside job if it's being sent to that wallet. And then that's the wallet that's extracting it. So I think it was genuine. But then the other hack was just a hex hack. So they had been EESing just like million hex stakes, just bang, 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 bang. Some poor person's staking ladder. So yeah, I was a bit upset for that. But the interesting thing about that was that it kind of shows you that the T-share sort of staking mechanism, it kind of also protects the system against hacks in a sense, because when someone's wallet gets hacked and then they dump all of those stakes, they're nuking the stakes. They're getting like hardly any of the actual hex out of the stakes. So
it's going back to the stakers.
Yeah, it's going back to the stakers. So the mechanisms in play there sort of minimize the damage of a hack.
It doesn't help the person getting hacked. Let's just be
I was just
clear
thinking
with
that. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, no. If it's getting hacked, unfortunately, like that's really.
But for the
weird.
system,
usually when people get hacked, it hurts the ecosystem, right? It hurts.
Right.
Like if someone hacks a Bitcoin wallet, that hackers might just sell all the Bitcoin,
just
100% of
or
it.
anything else, right? But in this instance, if they hack a wallet that's got staked hex and then they EES all these stakes, they're like the further out the stakes are, there's going to be diminishing returns, and they actually the penalties go back to the people who are staked. So it's sort of like this little mechanism which if you do have other wallets with stakes, at least you can, I guess the silver lining is you're getting some of your own hacked wallet, EESs back through that mechanism.
I'm a fan of the hex stake instances on the Hedron protocol. And especially if you're going to do a long-term stake and just, get a wallet that's never touched anything and just send it over there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a nice safety precaution.
It's good. That's a great option that a lot of people don't know about, that you can actually stake. It's a hex stake instance. You can stake using the Hedron ecosystem, and then if you want, you can turn that HSI, which is a stake, into an NFT and send it to another wallet, which is a great option. Now, as far as I understand, Alex from Hedron, he's going to be updating that system so that I don't think you're even going to need to, when you create the HSI, or it's going to be called a HMI, you're not going to have to then convert it into an NFT. It's going to be automatically just an NFT.
Yeah, you won't have to tokenize it. Yeah.
Sweet.
That's cool. Yeah, there's rumors that he's cooking, man. Let him cook.
That's it. Yeah. And Tangang are cooking. Shout out to those guys. They're always releasing new coins and things. And
have you seen the chart the tangent chart of like all the Tangang coins?
I have actually.
That
I
was
was going to talk about
fire.
that. Yeah, shout out to
So
Tangent.
last week when you did your you like let people throw in like a coin to do analysis on, I threw in that
Yes.
TWV and I found that from that chart.
Yeah,
That chart is
yeah.
that chart is fire.
I'm not sure if this is the right version of this.
Is that the one?
But yeah. I know the one. Oh yeah, it is too. You know, it fully is, and this has got it on there as well. So I think he's classified this in terms of founders, or maybe I've just got it on that tab. I haven't played around with this a lot, but yeah, shout out to Tangent, man. This has been really valuable for a lot of people just to get contract addresses and look at like how much it would be to get a shark position and all this sort of stuff. Plus, if you're like, you know, a big fan of, you know, Spooky, Too Spooky, and whomever, you might want to, you know, look into just those founders. Yeah, that was really cool. And when you brought that up about the we were shouting out people's coins and things last week. I mean, we can do that again at the end. I normally sort of do that right at the end. Yeah, let's do that. Let's leave it to the end.
Yeah.
Also out of respect for 43, because I don't want to like be talking too many shit coins when because he's more of a
an OG
core OG man.
That's it.
Which is I don't mind. I believe this stuff is for people to do what they want to do. That's the whole point, you know. So I don't throw shade.
Exactly.
I'm not throwing shade at other people doing whatever they want. Not at all. Would never do that.
Yeah.
Although I used to do it a fair bit when Hex was going up, and rightly so, I might add. But like, having said that, guys, I'm going to bail. VTX, awesome to see you again. I hope you come back whenever you feel like it. True Blue, I'll catch you and Dozer next week.
Awesome, man. Thanks for joining us, 43. Always a pleasure, mate.
Have a good weekend, man.
Cheers, bro.
Peace.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That it's good to have him on. But no, he's dead right. I think you know, you've got to be a little bit careful if you swing and a miss with a meme coin. There's always that opportunity cost where, you know, if you're thinking you don't want to be selling down your main bag. I like to have a separate wallet, which I kind of just have like as a degen wallet, which I do I do look into like whatever coins, and I'm pretty ruthless with it as well. Like if something pumps like a 2x, I'll take out my principal and I'll just leave that like moon bag just to ride.
Dude, this is so funny. I didn't look, so I put in less money into that coin than I would spend at Taco Bell for lunch. All right.
Nice.
And I hadn't checked it for like 2 weeks. And I just thought it was funny. Like, that's just, I don't know. That's what I do. I just like, what would be a funny coin for you have to pull up to look at it? And that thing went 30x. I was just like, wow. Like, that's crazy. I mean, the liquidity is like so thin on these. And man, I just got to keep shouting them out because Sami had this great idea. Is like for really small players that might only have 5, 10, 20 bucks to like kind of toss around for like some lotteries or whatever.
Yeah.
You have these coins that are so like there's so few holders in them. It's so cheap to accumulate a shark position. They're on this chart. You can like take a look. It like shows you how much money you need to have to be a shark. And you could just start your own community to like start blasting one of these things. I think his example was honk. He was just like be like honk all on Twitter, and like you could just like try it. Like these things get it's like you know like such small market caps and such little liquidity. I mean, it's just fun if like people
you could be a shark position.
Play,
you could be a shark position in some of these coins for a couple of $100. And then like
a lot
you
of
say,
them moved up since then. Was I don't know. It's so many. There's so many fun things to do in this game.
I think it should be fun. I think I like that. Especially when you're talking about a long-term grind. You got to have a little bit of fun. You can't just be sort of investing your emotions too much in it, and then because you're going to get some volatility, right? Like you're going to get some days, some price go up, price go down. Like, so you can't have your emotions invested too much in this stuff.
We can
Otherwise,
wake up tomorrow, it'll literally be zero. Like there's a possibility. Like I just
you
live
have to
every
accept that.
day. That is you have to accept that. You have to. It could happen. But
Look, it's part of the go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, like, you kind of take that into consideration on the risk curve that you're investing in. Like, you know what I mean? You have one of these
100.
really small market cap coins. Like, I'm not gonna go, too hard in those, like my core coins, because I can see the longevity in those. Like, are these gonna be around in a couple months, a couple years, a couple decades? Like, you don't know.
A couple of hours. Yeah.
A couple hours. Like, yeah, exactly.
Oh man, I was talking to True Blue and I was saying, that Nagabo is releasing a shit coin, and I was like, I reckon I'd give it 40 minutes. I literally said that. I said, I don't reckon it'll go the full hour.
I thought you were gonna say $40. I was like, I don't know, that's a little more than I would chuck in, but I'd throw something in there. Nagabo, come on.
No, Jackpot. I woke up too late.
Is the coin called Jackpot?
I woke up and it was like an hour after it launched, and I was like, too late. I was like,
too late. Yep.
It's done. I'm like, because I even said, like, if I was going to get in, I would try and snipe that at launch and then literally be out in like 40 minutes because I just wouldn't trust it. But anyway, that's the kind of degeneracy that we have. And I really like your point, VTX, about that risk curve, because I kind of try and zoom out a little bit and just think about, investing in different assets. So you might look, big picture. You've got your superannuation, or your 401k you have in the US, and you've got these sort of things that you can't touch until you're 65, 70. And then you've got like real estate and things like that. But you can do like, self-managed super funds. You can, but you've got to be really careful with your risk profile. And then you've got your real estate. You're talking hundreds of thousands, like millions of dollars, putting into what is relatively low ROI in terms of, but low risk. So it's on that risk curve of, you might get 7% growth per every decade, which is a doubling. But then if the inflation is halving in that time, like if your purchasing power of the dollar is also going up at 7%, then you're sort of only getting paper gains. Like your house might go from 500 grand to be worth $1 million. But then if you cashed it out, or one side of the coin, the houses in that same market have also gone up to $1 million. So you're only trading sideways. But say you've got multiple houses and you can cash out that milli, its purchasing power is still only 500K because the dollar's being diluted. So in some regard, you're putting large amounts of money into asset classes that do okay but have low risk, and then you break it down into like stocks or whatever. You might have slightly lower risk, but in my mind, stocks are just as dodgy as crypto. Like they use just as much leverage, and they there's so many sort of IPO sort of rugs that go on in stocks that it's very similar. And then so you've got your crypto spectrum, where even within that, with your Bitcoin and Ethereum, you have these different risk profiles. So that by the time you get down to dick with butt or whatever, it's like you're acutely aware that if you're going to put your beer money in it, that it could do well or it could just go to zero. But I do think it brings in adoption. So I think, that's the
And that's why you put an amount in that you're like, okay, if this goes to zero, I'm not going to be crying.
Exactly.
Know?
Yeah. And just take it on the chin, like,
Yeah. You try. You got to try. You got to try some of these. I think dick with butt is hilarious. I've shown a lot of people dick with butt that they don't have any crypto, don't know anything about crypto, and they're like, oh yeah, that's fire. And the website is amazing. The Winamp, oh man, that brought me all the way back. And a couple of those songs are like real bangers. I love how it looks like Windows 95. I love everything about that token.
I have nothing but emotions to invest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. I get a little bit coming in from the yield farms to like try to throw as like little lotteries, but it's been tough to try to find anything else. So it's long and strong for as long as it takes.
Look, I mean, we've had a lot of time to accumulate, and I think
Yes,
like
facts.
I pretty much packed my bags, and then now I'm just adding to them, and I'm just rotating, meme coin pumps back into the core, just stacking, trying to accumulate. I think that's all you can do, like, and then just wearing it. I might just quickly do the old show me what you got, and then we'll throw up some charts real quick, if that's cool with
Show
you
me
guys.
what you got.
Let's do it.
It's still funny. I think it's probably got about one more go at it before it stops being funny.
Show me what you got.
Jim, you heard them. Said, show me what you got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Nice.
Armageddon. That's a stretch.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's Rick and Morty, man. I thought that was funny. But yeah, so this is
Great
the
show.
segment where we talk about some shit coins, let's just be honest, and some meme coins, and maybe not. Maybe we could talk about anything, man. You in the chat, I implore you, put in some tickers. Let me know what you want to see. If you want me to plot chart Hex or chart Ethereum, Matic, doesn't matter. If you want me to do that, I'll do it. But I might not say nice things about it. That's the only thing. So I just wanted to quickly bring up, we were talking about BBC last week. Someone mentioned it in the chat.
Yeah.
And I said that if I was buying it, I would look at this line of resistance up here at about whatever it was, 48 cents. And it looked like it was sort of going for it. And I thought, just wait and see if it does break this resistance to see whether it retests before it bounces. I said, if I was going to try and trade this, I would literally wait for the retest.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look what happened.
Yeah. Nice.
It broke the resistance. It did not retest, fake out, and went down. So, nailed it.
100%.
That was exactly what I was saying to be careful of. I said, even to sell some before that resistance, I would do that just as a hedge, and then wait for it to retest. And if it did, I would buy back more as like an entry here. And then it obviously didn't. So
Where was the where's like April 13th on that chart? Can you circle it or like put the pointer there?
it was here.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the GCR thing. Like if the coin has made like a higher low than the fake World War III FUD on April 13th, then that's showing some strength. I thought that was a really interesting technical concept.
I like that. I like that. So when you say GRC, who are you saying?
GCR, the Grim Reaper. I don't know. Simon talks about.
Oh, okay.
That guy's a legend.
I thought you
Apparently.
were talking about Gym Rat for a second there. I was like, that's a blast from the
Oh,
past.
I say GRC,
Good old Jim Rat.
GCR. I think. Anyway, yeah, I was talking about that
Don't worry,
earlier today.
I just remember Jim Rat streams and I used to watch them. So shout out to Jim Rat if he's still floating around.
Yeah, Jim Rat's a legend.
He is.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. And so you were saying, sorry to interrupt you there, that so at the April 13th, where we had the World War III FUD,
Right.
if it made a higher high.
Oh, a higher low today since that dip, then that's showing some strength.
Some strength.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So maybe BBC is going to have another run at this. Yeah.
Could be.
That could be good. Did you guys see that bro coin that BitBoy launched?
Oh yeah. I think I hear not many are actually very far up on it. There's a bit of talk about some things that happened with the launch of that, but yeah.
But that's looking like a rounded bottom to me.
Well,
Big
that's
old
true as
roundy.
well. So I did get in early on this because I just happened to be around at the time, and I was just like, what is up? And then I saw this and I got the contract address and I did my classic thing where I took out the principal on a 2x and then I just let the moonbag ride. And then it went down lower. But yeah, you never know. Like you say, VTX, it does look like it's done a bit of a rounded bottom. But yeah, BitBoy, as much as I love how he is sort of leaning into the PulseChain community, and I think he's got, you know, good eyes on the assets that we love, you know, Hex and PulseChain and all, and PLSX, all that sort of stuff. But he is a bit of a loose cannon, right? Like, you know, he's got that kind of, you know, I think he's starting another boxing match coming up with someone else.
Let's go. I was about to say he won the boxing match, so that's a big plus right there. I mean, come on, man. Everyone's got to be a little schizo, and it's cool to have some controversy, you know, give some people something to talk about, you know? We got to have something.
You've convinced me. All right. I was on the edge.
Going all in, bro.
Maybe he'll wear a bro shirt when he goes out. You never know. He'll come back again and you know, ride that coin and sort of really pump it up and stuff all the time. Cool. I don't think it was just a one-off thing. So he'll look at building it up. And yeah, it might be a good time to get in. Who knows?
I'm not a fan when it gets into like family drama and stuff like that. That kind of feels like a little too personal for me. You know what I mean? But like, whatever, man. Like, I don't know. He's another one. Like, I wouldn't fade his ability to build a following. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true.
Network effect.
That's for sure. Yeah.
He's got that, and he's persistent. Like, you know, you can say negative things about what he may have done with, you know, his family life or whatever, but he's persistent. He's grinding. He's trying to build his brand again, and he's got another fight coming up. Like, he's going for a boxing match with someone. I'm slightly concerned for his health doing that, because watching that first
depends on who he's fighting.
I think it's like a proper boxer, like an amateur boxer or something. Okay. I was like, sounds like he's going back for his hat. I'm going, bro, don't do that. Like, you did it. You won that one against that Harry Potter, Sonic, Obama, Inu, whatever coin guy.
That was so fun. That was
fun.
Here's the thing, man. Like, as much respect as I have for content creators, I gotta put the next level up. I got respect for men and women that will get in the ring.
Yes.
Like, you might not make it out.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. True. Good point. Yeah, he got in the ring, and it was only because, like I was saying, he was throwing haymakers, and he didn't have a great guard and things like that. And I was kind of thinking, if it's a half decent boxer, he might be in trouble. But anyway, it's that's not the point.
Commentary though, the commentary was so good. Like, yeah, I don't know. I thought it was fun. I can see but I also watch like a lot of, like, you know, boxing and UFC and MMA and stuff like that. So it's just a little gimmicky for trying to get attention, but man, go for it. BitBoy, you want to box, bro? Go box. Throw hands. You know, work on that guard for sure, and like work on your gas tank a little bit. You know. Yeah,
he needs to. Yeah, he needs to do that for sure. Thanks to Klaz, she's given us something to look at here. So let me just see. Probably, I've got this in regular trading view. Will be the easiest. So good Ethereum. Yeah, good old fashioned blue chip Ethereum. One thing is, I guess, it looks like it bounced off this 20-week moving average here. So see this little wick down here, and this is also coincidentally a fib retracement line. This is the 38.2. Hit it twice, hit it a third time, wicked just below. If it closes the weekly below this 20 MA, I'm going to be slightly concerned. So the week's not over yet, right? But if this closes this weekly below the 20 MA on the weekly, yeah, it could be entering a downtrend or maybe consolidating a downtrend. But if it doesn't and it bounces off, then happy days. If we look at it in terms of ETH BTC, I think it's in a downtrend versus Bitcoin. So I haven't seen any trend reversals here that would make me think otherwise. I was really hoping that I could see some sort of trend reversal with Ethereum versus BTC, but it's below the 10 and the 20 week moving average. with respect to Bitcoin. So yeah, at this point, you should have just been in Bitcoin since the merge. Bit late now, but
You know,
yeah.
it could be tomorrow you wake up. You never know. It's
Well-
so crazy how crypto moves, man.
Yeah, that's right. That's true. And we don't know what's going to happen with the Ethereum ETFs, and there's other things.
Yeah.
But
There's
yeah, that's just in
innovation
terms of-
happening on Ethereum, and the ETF is definitely something that for people to think towards. Bitcoin
It is
halving's
weird.
over.
Yes. Great point. So in terms of narratives, everyone was just thinking about the halving, when halving. Now we've had that. What's the next narrative? Ethereum ETF, surely.
Yeah, it must
Runes.
be. Yeah, what do you guys think?
No,
What do you
I didn't get into that.
No, me neither.
Go ahead, True Blue.
No, sorry, I think I might be on a lag there. But what do you think about the sell-off with Bitcoin or the drop in the market from, the 63 mark type thing? Do you think it could be, the traditional investors sort of wanting to sell out of their ETF type stuff at that stage? They've had like some good gains. Do you reckon they're like, oh, that's more gains than we've seen, we're out? Or do you think this is just normal, market progression? Or
Normal.
Okay, I
on that?
think I'm going to be slightly controversial here and say that I think it's actually what happened in the stock market.
Yeah.
So the S&P 500, if you look at it here, this is on the weekly.
It's like the same chart.
Yeah.
It's like so it's the whole thing that when, if Bitcoin sneezes, then the rest of the alts catch a cold. And so, but the same thing happens with the S&P 500. So, S&P 500 goes down a little bit. Sometimes Bitcoin goes down. Like there is a correlation there. And it sort of gets exacerbated the lower the liquidity you go. So when you go down to like real low liquidity assets, they have more volatility. So that can be volatility to the upside. So if Bitcoin goes up by 50%, maybe your favorite altcoin will go up by 50,000%.
Yeah.
But it works both ways, right? So it's a reflexive system. So this, I guess, was concerning for me when the S&P 500 on the weekly went right down to the 20-week moving average, but did not close below it. So this for me would have been, I think this is the World War III FUD, right? This is like the first day, the opening of the markets after the whole Iran bombing. Well, depending on which way you look at it. So I think it was Israel blew up a Iranian embassy in Syria, and then Iran retaliated. They gave them heaps of warning and with some old expired rockets, and then they shot them out of the sky, and then it just kept going back and forward.
Oh, what a mess.
But it seems like a bit of a show, like what 43 was talking about earlier, of like world leaders with their egos. But anyway, don't want to get into that too much. But I think what happened here is this was the first day that the markets opened after that incident, and it went right down to the 20 MA, didn't close below it. We got a bit of a bounce, and then this is the one that happened the other day. It wicked down again to the 20-week moving average. So I reckon so this was on the 29th of April. Yeah. I reckon that is what spooked BTC here, 29th of April. Wicked right down.
It's a big red candle on on Bitcoin. So
S&P 500, that's what happened. BTC, a lot of these guys, Wall Street bros, trying to cover their like leveraged position in the stock market by selling their Bitcoin. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you just get it flowing down. So I kind of hope that was an anomaly, and it didn't close. So that's my metric, is like when the weekly, if it closes below the 20 MA. So it didn't go too far down. I thought it could have easily gone down to 51 or 52K or something, but it didn't. Showed some recovery. So I think hopefully we're going to keep going up.
We're definitely going to keep going up, man. Definitely. Eventually. I mean, come on.
Let's-
We've been in this too long to get concerned about little stuff like this.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
This is like,
Let's-
and it's funny, like seven monthly green candles. So whoever was buying that seventh like monthly green candle, I'm
Great
sure they're
point.
very happy to sell some red candles.
That was a mad run up. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
that's very true.
people that buy tops and sell bottoms are just transferring their money to people that buy bottoms and sell tops. So
Yeah,
that's the
it's
game.
the game. It's the game. It is what it is. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. Like it's
Facts.
7 weeks of up. You know, people are going to take profits. 20%. I think would probably be very consistent. 20% retracements would be healthy pullbacks. This one a little bit more. I think that's what kind of spooked people. But really, the 10 MA, 20, 50, 100, they're still stacked. And it wouldn't be that much hard. It wouldn't be too hard for it to pump out of this. And one thing that's interesting is I originally had thought, well, if it's 12 months from BTC all-time high to all-time low and 3 years for, you know, in this sort of fan fiction theory of 4-year cycles, that 3 years from to break the previous all-time high, then that puts us breaking was 70K in sort of October, November of this year, right? So with the ETFs, we had this sort of left translated cycle where it seemed like we were breaking the all-time high maybe 5 months early or something like that. But we didn't really break it that hard. Like we were only like 73 or something instead of 69. So as a percentage, it was almost like a fake out. Like it wasn't really a serious break.
Yeah, it
above
didn't
all-time
close.
high.
You know, it's like it didn't just break clean straight up and then, you know, reset there. It was just
Yeah,
a little bit.
let's look at the monthly, right? Let's zoom out and say, okay, on the monthly, did we?
I guess we did close, but I
Oh,
can't
actually, no.
see
We
what
did,
these
okay,
last-
okay. To be fair, we did close at the monthly higher, but yeah, it's basically that sentiment for me, which was sort of, yeah, we breached the all-time high in Bitcoin, but not convincingly.
Right.
So that idea that we could be sort of breaking the all-time high convincingly in October 2024 is still on the cards in quite a few scenarios. One where we basically just go blip, 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 and then go straight up here, right? There's a few scenarios where it could have gone up and gone back down and then gone back up. So it could just be going sideways here for ages, or it could go down and then up. So in all of these three things, it kind of converges on this point. So this is still intact. Like this 3 year from all-time high to breaking the all-time high is still intact because there's multiple paths that this can take. So anyway, that's kind of my mental state is I'll wait and see before I start claiming left translated cycles and things like that. But in terms of the hex, you know, and PulseChain sort of thing, we have to consider that there's these other ones like, say, Matic, for example. This is down, you know, all-time high on the weeklies, 75%. Matic was one of those big ones that everyone was, you know, saying was going to be the next big thing and all this sort of stuff. And it fully hasn't been. So the Polygon guys, you know, I don't know if maybe if you're in the Polygon community, they're crying like just as bad as we are, but it's not uncommon that a lot of these things are still really far down. I mean, people are talking about Gala being the next big thing in terms of gaming and all this sort of stuff.
That is a long
It's
way
down
down.
90, down 95%, man. Like we haven't seen shit yet. Like this, you know, total 2 is still below previous all-time highs. We just got a while to go, is what it boils down to. Sorry if I got distracted there.
No, it's good. Ash has a good comment there, and I reckon that's why it's good to be staking your hex, because it locks it up. And like VTX was saying, if you do it in a hex stake instance or whatever and send it away to a different wallet, you're not going to touch it. No one else is going to get it. And once everyone's flushed out, you're still you're still holding strong. So,
And if you have money right now and you buy Hex and stake it, that's so contrarian. Because think about it. When the green candles come, that narrative is going to come back. You know what I mean? Like that. I remember when I got into Hex towards, I don't know, like pretty much towards the end of last bull market. It was all about staking and like, oh, you go on Hex Calc and you see how much money you're going to have in like a few years and like always trying to think about the future and stuff like that. But when the price is down, nobody wants to talk about that. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
coins.
But like that's when your T-share prices are down. And I mean, you just got to decide what you want to do. You know what I mean? What your investment thesis is, how much money you want to send out for how long. And yeah, that's definitely contrarian. Yeah. That's definitely a buy low, sell high sort of strategy.
Definitely.
Yeah, and there's lots of different strategies even with staking as well. I mean, I like the idea of just doing rolling stakes, like the sort of
those are cool.
Monthly, quarterly, those sort of things, because then you're not sort of exposed to this. I mean, I've still got Quattro Stingo stakes anyway, but it's like I don't want to be sort of banking on things like that far into the future. Maybe some people do, but if you're doing rolling stakes, you're getting that yield, and you can buy a big bag now, so for pennies on the dollar. So the rolling stakes, and particularly on PulseChain where the end stake fees are minimal, then you still, I think that narrative is still in play. But the farms, I think I'm sort of more bullish on yield from the farms point of view. But that might change. So it's just like, if you say that an asset is good, you have to say over what time frame. Like you have to be able to say, you know, it doesn't make any sense to just say an asset is good or an asset is bad. You have to consider the time frame though, which you're talking about.
Staking
and also,
Hex,
I guess.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Just the last thing of that was the time frame, and also with respect to what. So if you're plotting, you know, Hex versus Pulse, you might say, okay, Hex is really good, but with respect to Pulse, it might be underperforming Pulse. In actual fact, now it's outperforming Pulse. So you have to see with respect to what asset. And so, what were you going to say, VTX?
Absolutely. Also, like staking Hex is like a very mature mindset type of thing. You know what I mean? And this is a very, I don't know if it's an immature ecosystem. Well, we're only a year old, you know what I mean? And we're like, things are like growing, different communities are popping up, and I don't know, it's like it's just a different game. It's more like it just feels mature to me. It feels like a mature thing to do. And like, who knows like how far this community, this ecosystem, PulseChain is going to go in years down the road, where like a narrative like that is like really like, okay, cool, like, you know, all right, we did the meme thing, we did the leverage thing, we did the, you know, all these other things, we tried it out, and maybe people want to be more responsible with their money at some point. But I don't know, I guess that's the main point, is that kind of narrative feels mature. Maybe it's like a little bit ahead of like where the ecosystem is at right now too. Maybe that's why there's that downtrend, and also the red candles too, but you know.
Yeah. But look, you know, they're not mutually exclusive. You can have a little from column A, a little from column B. Like
exactly,
you can have your Hex stakes, you can have your liquid Hex, you can have your degen, you know, Tengang coin or whatever, teddy bear or whatever it is that you think is good, a troper. You know, there's a lot of these communities out there. So, you know, whatever it is, whatever floats your boat. But it doesn't mean you have to be maximalist and be like teddy bear only, you know, or a troper only. It's like whatever you want to do, and then you can have your other stuff as well.
It's tough on banking on being right, you know, when there's all this stuff going on. So, you know,
it's there's a little bit of that, and it's a percentage thing. Look, it's such a complex thing. It's not simple. So we're talking about allocating proportionally an investment portfolio versus risk profile, and then having regret minimization strategies, hedging strategies, long-term staking yield strategies. Like it is, you know, everyone to each their own. And so one thing we were just talking about then was when you plot, say, hex versus pulse, right? So this is just hex against USDC, which sort of seems like it might be rounding out a little bit. Hex on PulseChain. Like, I know you like your rounded bottoms, VTX.
Rounded bottoms,
It certainly does.
diamond butts.
Rounded bottoms make the world go round.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you plot it in Pulse, Rat Pulse, the trend was certainly going down. And I think we saw this last week where there was a massive buy like on the day.
Yeah.
And it was around about that 120 pulse per hex. And we were saying, if this is breaking out of that trend, then hex could start to outperform pulse. And I said, oh, well, wait and see if the next line of resistance was 140 pulse per hex, like would be the next stop. And it fully went there. So, and it retested it. So 146 hex per pulse now. So maybe, maybe there is a bit of a migration going on with some of the pulse guys back into hex.
I like the look of that chart. I like the flip there, and if that keeps moving, yeah, it's exciting stuff, I reckon. And we might get the hex narrative back at that stage. So these narrative, like, it just keeps changing. It's just like a big ship on the ocean, just swaying from side to side. The way everyone's mentality goes, and you can see it straight there in the chart. So yeah, interesting stuff. Very
interesting. I think I may have neglected one of the coins that was put into the chat. Look up DGen. It's a copy of ETH at the time of snapshot. So I am a little bit familiar with this because correct me if I'm wrong. So I thought that the DGen chain was like a layer 3 built on top of base, which is a layer 2. And so they were using DGen, which is on the layer 2 on base, as the token for the gas on the layer 3.
Righto.
So
I have no idea about that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. So this is DGen on base. Oh man, it's got the it's got the Wall Street classic, that chart, right? Like, which is when you plot the Wall Street cheat sheet.
Yeah.
Oh, the complacency rally.
Well, it's just a classic. It's just a classic look. Like, let's see if I can put these side by side.
Is that the daily chart? I can't see.
Yeah,
okay, sorry. I just realized I can't do these things side by side. Sorry, I just.
You need to put your good glasses back on, VTX. You can't see.
No,
properly.
Those were even worse, man.
Man, I know
I'm on
exactly
my phone over here, so it's small.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You're doing well.
Nice, man.
You're doing well. Yes. So all I guess I was saying is that it has a bit of that look about it, where once you get down on that denial, anxiety sort of slope, this could go down. It's making like lower highs, lower lows. But maybe it's entering an accumulation zone, I guess you could say. Yeah. So you've used Farcaster, haven't you? VTX, like the warp casting, because I think you actually got me onto it.
Yeah, I saw, I had to hit you up and tell you about it because I thought the concept was cool. I didn't take deep enough dive into it that I wanted to, but from what I understand is it does kind of use blockchain to a certain extent, even though that the people people do run nodes to validate the like when you post on there, it's kind of like a mashup of like X and Reddit, kind of. I think that's how they're describing it.
Sure.
And so people will validate your posts, but it doesn't actually happen on the blockchain. The only thing the blockchain does is it identifies that it is in factually you that is posting it. So you do get like an ID with your seed phrase or whatever, and when you post, it's like, okay, this is the actual person that's making this post, but they don't suck up the resources of validating all the posts people do, because if there's a double post on there, it's not like you sent somebody money twice. You know what I mean? Like somebody can
Not like a
post
double
text
spend.
twice. Yeah, there could be like a double
Oh,
post, and it's not really a big deal. And it seems like the incentive for people like running these nodes is that they have full access to all the things that everybody posts. Because just, you know, same as like blockchain, it's like a system state. So all the people that are running the software have the full system state of everybody who posts on the thing. But it's
wow.
cool because you can actually take that and you can filter it based on whatever, like you can build other apps and just use information. Like if you want to have a sports app, so you find everybody that's posting about sports or doing things about sports, and you can like, I don't know, there's ways to like boil it down and use it to make other sorts of apps. And they have this this frames feature where it's kind of like how Instagram has like stories, and like
Oh yeah.
they're very limited to the amount of programming you can do, because it's like you can vote on something, or you could like slide a fader, like how much do you like this picture, and you like slide it. But the frames feature on that lets you actually program it. I think that there's up to like 4 buttons, and people have put like shopping carts in there, like pick an item you want to buy, and then you like hit it and it'll take you to like a checkout, and you can like sell stuff through there. So you can program these frames as like stories in more creative ways. So I thought it was cool. Like, I don't know, I
Yeah.
haven't,
It
I'm
sounds
trying to
interesting,
stay on
man.
board with this social media stuff, but I had to let you know when I saw that, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
it's a totally different set of people on there, a totally different community.
Hmm.
So were you playing around on there? Did you see anything interesting?
Yeah, so I just got that Warpcast app, and I went on and tried to find like PulseChain people on there, and to sort of shill PulseChain basically on this, you know, Farcaster network, I guess. And it was a little bit hard to figure out. It looked like you could do casts instead of tweets, and
Yeah.
but you could pay people. I think people were basically looking for like, you can tip people with this degen coin. I assume that's what it is actually, is that they're tipping. It's like a tipping economy almost, where you just, so yeah, that was kind of interesting. And, you know, another platform for Pulsicans to shill, you know, I think why not, you know, check it out. I think I saw Coffee and Golkey and a few people on there. So there is some hexagons on there. But yeah, in terms of the coin, that, because I think Ash was talking about, like, I think degen is the gas fee, is the gas token, so that's it there. But there is actually a degen chain, right? Because it was oh wow, it's gone down so far. I don't know if you can see this. So this, when this launched, this was like right up here. So wow, it's maybe its adoption is not quite there. But anyway, so they have their own degen swap and things like that. I think Gophers launched on degen chain.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Shout out to Squirrels Worldwide.
Squirrels.
Blockchain wide.
Yeah. That did not do so well, but I don't know. Maybe it'll come back. I don't know. The old the Gophers, because they did staking. You can stake your Gophers on Solana, I think. But yeah, I
Do you guys
I
think
didn't do that.
the 404 narrative is gonna have any legs to it?
Oh, I don't know. I actually don't think so, because originally, you know, I was kind of hyped about it with that Pandora coin, and then the Gophers and stuff. But then after a while, it started to feel, it's got like Friendtech vibes, where it was, you know, Friendtech's going to be the next new thing, and everyone's just going to be using it. And then after a while, people are like, what was that thing, Friendtech or something, you know? And then so I thought, oh, I wonder if this 404 narrative might have just been a flash in the pan. Yeah, I guess look, you need price go up, right? You can't go all in on these things if their performance is shit. That's why we chart a lot of these things, because I think you just need to have a bit of confidence. Unless you've got like ultra confidence in the founder, that makes a difference.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So
the kind of like the collect them all sort of thing. Like I saw people like trying to brag like they had the whole collection, and like you could try to like, but that's kind of like a short. That game isn't like a super fun forever kind of game. I guess you need people that really appreciate it. Where like the NFT community, I don't know. I'm not really an NFT guy. I don't know too much about it, but they seem to find ways to value like these specific artworks in their way. You know what I mean?
Look,
Rather you're trying to like roll the dice and see if you could get like collect them all sort of thing with these 404 collections. So.
Look, I have never been a big EFT bro, and I kind of regret missing out on that in the last cycle. And I always just faded it. I always just gave it shit because I was just like, JPEGs, you can just right click, all that sort of stuff. And I think that maybe that has changed. I think there is actually a lot of functional NFTs, obviously HSIs and that sort of stuff. But there are, fractionalized NFTs. There's other use cases in terms of token gating and things like that. And Tangang, they would tell you a lot more than I could about it, like check out the spaces and stuff. But I wouldn't completely fade it in this next cycle because, Somi talks about this, you get the BTC retracement. So you might get like a 20% drawdown or something. And then it's almost like a narrative reset where, now it's like GameFi is the next new thing. And then that does a bit of a run. And then and then there's something else that resets the narrative. And then people start looking, it's AI again. And then, meme coin like Pepe or whatever comes back.
You can feel it. You can feel it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can feel there's a
reset.
shift.
Yeah, like there's like with something you don't. But that's what's so crazy is you don't know what it's gonna be. So you try to throw a little bit around. You don't know what it's gonna be.
Exactly.
But something new is coming up, and oh man, I don't know.
Yeah, that's the game. But so the NFT thing, I reckon there will be a time where people are doing the NFT rocks again, like the Ether rocks and stuff. And I know a lot of that stuff is just wash trading and whatever. But I reckon there might be a point where people are just going to, and it's going to be probably right at the end of the cycle, where you'll be able to flip NFTs. Like you'll be able to take like a 1 Ether NFT and flip it for 2, and then just literally just keep like rinse and repeat. And then people are going to get wrecked. Like it's the musical chairs.
Like, don't get me excited about that because that sounds like me getting wrecked.
No, it will happen, and then people get wrecked. It'll be musical chairs all over again. The music will stop, and people will go, "Oh no, I've got monkey JPEGs." And they're going to get wrecked.
I really hope we get a new technology. Oh man, that would be so great if we got something like a totally new,
something
innovative, legit, like really sparks people's imagination. That would get me excited. Like.
That's true. Class knows what's up. Musical chair.
Yeah, yep. So if you could choose like a left translated standard 4-year or prolonged cycle, what would be your choice at this point in the game?
At this point in the game, I want it to be the 4-year cycle to keep going. So I would prefer that because then at least we know we have some feel for it. So then, when BTC tops out, maybe 27 days later, Ethereum tops out, maybe Hex goes for a pump, all that sort of stuff. That's what I'm hoping. Like that's my sort of, I guess that's my hope. But then at some point you've got to go into stable coins, right? Like you can't write it down. So
that's
each to their own, and you can do whatever you like, but
how about you, True Blue?
Yeah, I reckon, once there's more and more adoption and it's showing, I know the trend is still there, but as the adoption keeps coming, I reckon we're going to start seeing that start to change the 4-year cycle, because only the good traders will probably, you know, be able to call the tops and the bottoms. And if it stays at the 4-year cycle, everyone's just going to know it, aren't they? When there's that much adoption, that many players, it's like a game that everyone can win at, and I don't think that's possible. There's always got to be, unfortunately, there's got to be people on the other side of the trade. So I think it's, you know, the game's going to get stronger, but yeah, maybe diminishing returns as we go. That's why I think, you know, we're at a good point now, before the adoption is absolutely nuts.
Awesome, man. I like that. One interesting thing that you just made me think of is that, you know, a lot of people talk about the diminishing gains with, say, you know, Bitcoin, if it went from 20K to 69K as like maybe a 2 and say a 3x or whatever, 2 and a bit X. Is that right? Yeah, say 3x. And then so if we went to go from 70K to the next all-time high as a diminishing returns, you know, maybe called it, say, a 2 to 2.5x. So then you're sort of aiming for that 120K BTC as like the top. If you're getting diminishing gains, is it not possible that you could also get diminishing drawdowns as well? So you know how in the past we saw 85% drop, like you break out of the parabola, bam, 85%, that's the new low. Yeah. And then I think that's why RH was calling for 10K and pray, right? So then it only went down to 15K because they printed more money. But it might also just be that you have diminishing gains, but diminishing downside. So then BTC might not go down all the way, like the 85% retracement to from, say it peaks at 140, it might only do a 65% drawdown. But anyway,
so that's where I see crypto becoming, you know, it's I guess true use as a currency where you can actually, it's usable to sell your Bitcoin for, you know, products or for services or whatever, rather than waiting for the top, cashing out into stables and then using that as you go. You know, when it does sort of taper and start to settle, I think it's a bit more usable for the idea of it being like, you know, a global thing. But yeah, what's your opinion?
Well, I was just going to say, I don't want to be like pushing back all the time on things, but so in the Bitcoin white paper, it was literally peer-to-peer digital cash. Like that's what was its intention. I kind of feel like the narrative has shifted and now it's just digital gold. It's just literally a store of value. Yeah. And you could argue that when you look on, say, PulseChain and Hex, you know, I always thought that Hex was the store of value. But actually, if you look at it, there's a lot more value stored in Pulse. So, you know, depending on how you look at it. But in terms of using like peer-to-peer transactions, like paying for stuff using crypto, maybe that will end up just being stable coins and other things, because, you know, you might just want to store your value in BTC, but actually pay for, rather than paying for things with BTC, because then you're relying on the repricing of the asset with the price of Bitcoin, which has got a bit of volatility. And then also there's 10-minute blocks. So you'd have to open channels for using Lightning Network. Yeah. And so generally with those channels, I think it's like, if you open a channel, like if I'm sending Bitcoin to you, we can open a channel and send Bitcoin back and forward. And then once the channel's closed, then it resolves on the actual, on the layer one. So if you were doing transactions with like a vendor, you'd be having to open these channels with all these different vendors. I'm not sure how that would work. But so yeah, I suspect it might just end up being Bitcoin store of value, you know, low yield, but still better than legacy finance. And then plus people can do all their leverage trading and all that shit. And then the peer-to-peer cash stuff, whether you're actually buying stuff, might just be on Ethereum or some sort of stable coin or whatever network.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I guess I was just pulling Bitcoin just out of a name, but yeah, crypto in general, and the volatility. I think as the volatility slows down, we'll be able to use it. Well, it will be more usable for a global type thing where people understand it. But at the moment, yeah, the max gains is what we're here for. And then when the volatility slows down, we're up there and we've got a bag. So that's going to be very nice.
That's it. Just keep stacking, and then hopefully it'll all just happen in one day. That's what Ash is saying.
Oh man, one day. Yeah.
just one massive god candle that just sends it.
I am kind of like not sure how I feel about how quickly the bull market ends. You know what I mean? After just being on this journey for so long, just like waiting and having all this patience and just knowing
yeah.
like one day it's gonna repeat.
Yeah, yeah, that's
But
it.
it's cool. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the why we're here, you know? Like I just think about it sometimes, like even that's why like when I see the jitters in the market and the news or whatever, I don't really let it affect me emotionally because at the end of the day, it's about the experience we're having. I've learned so much, even if it's just like personal growth and like learning how to be disciplined,
Yeah, that's
how to
right.
just be like
Yeah.
turbo long and disciplined and long-term focus to just like, all right, this is what we're going for. This is what we believe in. Because these people that are like selling these little red candles and doing that sort of stuff, they don't believe in this stuff anyway. Like we all believe in
Mm.
this stuff. Like you know, I could see that. And there's different systems. Like they already got apps where you can accept crypto as payments for like e-commerce. And I really like the Coast system if that ever comes back. When that was working, that was so
Big
fire.
time.
Just like stable coin, boom, swap back and forth, and you can send to your bank. And if there was like a debit card like connected to that, I'd be all over that. That'd
Sure.
be,
Yeah.
you know, just like real like streamlined and easy ways of using it. And, you know, it kind of connects the whole thing, but it's still, yeah, there's still so many people in the world that are just like, what's crypto?
That's
Oh,
right.
you mean
Mm.
Bitcoin, right? Like, yeah. So I don't know. One day.
100%.
Yeah, and this is an interesting comment from Daniel. I mean, the old RH principles, I think a lot of that is about like self-custody and things like that as well. So not exposing yourself to middlemen that can rug and things like that. So I still think we've learned a lot from RH in terms of security and things like that. And the long-term mindset, I think, is also
Yeah.
a good
The RH story is like not anywhere near being over.
yeah.
The RH saga is like we're like right in the middle of the movie right now. It's crazy.
This is the hero's journey, man. The hero's
Yeah.
journey is it's the arc. It has
Yeah.
to they have to have the downside to be able to create the upside. And then that's when you know
We beat the
Yeah,
corrupt SEC. Oh man, that's gonna be glorious.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Gensler's probably just gonna get fired or something, surely, for being incompetent.
Yeah.
The
can't
parade
believe
laps are
that's-
going to be amazing. That's for sure. Going to be so
Mhm.
good. Hey, speaking of movies, The Lowest of Stakes is coming out in 2 and a bit days. You seen that?
The lowest of stakes?
Yeah.
That's so
That's
funny,
a
man.
real thing.
That's the real thing. It premieres in 2 days. So for in Australia, the 6th of May at about 6 a.m. But yeah, 2 days from now. And it's on YouTube already, like the premiere's sitting there.
I don't know anything about that.
I'll put the
Yeah,
link in the private chat. You might be able to post it.
the 1-inch guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
no,
It's Hexy Bastard and those
yeah,
guys.
the 9-inch guys. Yeah.
Yeah, if you can throw it in the. Oh, here you go. You've got it there.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
you
looking
can-
forward to that.
Will I get? I won't get copy strikes or anything for playing the YouTube.
It won't even play. So if you just bring it up because it's a premiere, it'll just show you the thumbnail, I guess. Just
Oh,
the
okay,
start
cool.
of the video.
Let me just quickly whip that up here. Oh, okay, cool.
Oh my god, with the same font and everything.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's going to
love
be
that.
hilarious. It's going to be
love
good.
that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be funny.
Let's go.
I like this. Whoops. So you're saying there's a chance. That's that's the Dumb and Dumber, is it? I think that's classic Jim Carrey line.
Yeah.
I was also going to really quickly just run through a couple of things that I thought was interesting, just like rapid fire. So Grayscale Ethereum Trust is at minus 23% discount. So you know how we looked at this with the Grayscale BTF trust, and we were like, oh, it was almost at 0%, and then that's when BTC started pumping, and it's like, well, you know, this is maybe something to keep an eye on in terms of Ethereum and that ETH BTC ratio. So yeah, there's that. Richard Hart was talking about that L2s are trash, and tend to agree with him, because I was talking about how I didn't, you know, how you got these optimistic rollups where you have this fraud proof thing where it's like, if you bundle a whole bunch of transactions and then you have to sort of see whether or not there's been any falsified transactions, and then the fraud proof is what catches those fake transactions. And so he was talking smack about it. And then, because I remember, so that link, or that image, it actually comes from, if you go to ethereum.org and they're talking about layer 2s, right? It's a legit thing where they say, do your own research, these are the risk. It's this L2 beat thing. And it just looks terrible. Like, so they're saying that these sequences failed and that there was some, you couldn't withdraw from these L2s. And so their fraud proofs were in development. And so, because Base is based on the same stack as Optimism. So yeah, these Ethereum, Ethereum layer 2s are a little bit dodgy. Anyway, and then what else? There was, this was it, where BitBoy is actually gonna. Oh man, damn.
Who's that guy he's fighting?
I don't know this guy. Chris Schmick.
Chris Schmick.
I'm slightly concerned for his
ears like that because he got cauliflower ear from getting hit so much. That's crazy. Yo, BitBoy. Don't know. I don't know, man. BitBoy. Go for it.
Could be going back for his hat.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
He seems to be taking it seriously, though. We'll see.
Yeah. I hope he does, and I hope that his bro coin all works out and all that stuff. Get more eyes on. We had about 70 odd live viewers going at some point.
Nice.
And then now it's down to 66. But yeah, thanks heaps to for everyone, Replay Gang, the chat. Everyone's been awesome and really supportive. So thanks heaps for that. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say before we wrap it up? True Blue?
The only thing I was going to ask while you were looking at all those layer 2s that are having issues, everyone should have a think about what problems PulseChain's had since launch. Like, it's been almost a year, I guess, next weekend.
Almost
and by the
zero.
way, PulseChain conference is coming up. But yeah,
Yes.
What issues has PulseChain had in a whole year? People are going to start seeing that shining city on the hill eventually. It might take, we've got to somehow also get out there that the downtime that we haven't had, and just how well everything works, because it does. I think we're in the right place.
Amazing point. Amazing. PulseChain users unaffected.
Yeah.
And I guess we had that one glitch that just is burning crazy amounts of PulseX on V1, but
Yeah, that's
right. Yeah, we did. There we go.
Good problem to have, isn't it?
But yeah, I'm not complaining about that one.
It was burning too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep it burning.
It's crazy.
Keep it burning. But yeah.
How about you, VT? Have you got any closing thoughts?
Man, I don't have too many closing thoughts. Just, if anybody out there is feeling down about red candles, just keep your head up. This is a journey, man. It's a journey. So there's a lot of good things to look forward to, and there's a lot of good things in life to be positive about. So,
Definitely.
wait and see attitude. Wait and see. And, sometimes I think about, if all the green candles in the world came, like, what would I even do? And I'm like, you know what? I would still have to live this life and find some sort of meeting and be responsible about something, take care of my family and all that.
Family.
So, all that. So,
Exactly.
have fun while we play this game. That's all I'm trying to say.
That's it. I love it, man. I love the sentiment. I think that's a good way to go out, and to go out, enjoy your weekend, and the peeps out there, just to sort of remember that it's just all a ride, and it's just price go up, price go down, but we'll still be here next week, and we'll try and have a laugh and enjoy the ride.
No, that's right. Hey, if we do get enough green candles, we've got to rebuild that bar that you're sitting in front of, Dozer, because that looks like a good place to be, man. It looks amazing.
Let's do it. This is it. We'll have VTX dropping beats in the background.
Yes,
Yeah.
I will be there.
Yeah.
Sounds
If I
welcome.
had, that's one thing I would do. If I had decent bread, I would be traveling around, checking out different parts of the world for sure.
That's for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Shout out to the chat. Graviton, my man. Love your work. And Free Mint Friday, Tang Gang. Check that out. Thanks very much, everybody. And really appreciate it. Replay Gang, Twitter bots, everyone out there. You guys
Awesome
rock.
fun. Thanks very much.
Love you
we'll see you
guys.
again next week.
See you, man. Cheers for
Legends.
coming on.
Peace.
See ya.
Awesome. Have a good weekend. See yous.